Welcome, all of our freaks and geeks. It's been quite some time since our last podcast, but we're here to give you the great podcast quality content you have been subscribed to and coming back for every single time. We're here to talk about just have a fun talk about Star Wars and what we think about recent Star Wars projects and stuff like that, and how we feel about them. We're gonna be giving you our honest opinion about this stuff, and you don't agree with it, that's perfectly fine. Leave us a comment. We'll talk and discuss in the comment section below. But we're gonna be real honest, and we might even be brutally honest about things. But these are our personal opinions, and you can take them or leave them. With that disclaimer put out there, because I feel like I have to put disclaimers out here nowadays, about Star Wars content.
I know, right? So we won't get canceled.
Right? People be like, immediately when you talk shit about any Star Wars project, they're like, oh man, you must be one of those incel people or whatever. I'm like, nah, dude, I just don't like bad writing, man.
Are you misogynistic or sexist
right?
or
Or
racist?
something like
I'm
that.
like, no.
It's so, and I guess since I brought that up, it's just like weird that you can't have a disagreement about a project without one of those things being the thing, especially as like a minority. Like they'd be like, oh, you're just racist. I'm like, nah, I have no problem seeing representation or women representation or any other representation. I just wish you would write it better. I wish the writing was tighter.
And it's so weird because we get this whole thing now where it's, all of a sudden you all have a problem with the diversity and representation with female characters in Star Wars. And it's no, we never had a problem with that because all of the female characters before have been like great.
Like Leia.
Leia is one of the best female characters in film history as far as like
sci-fi
science
film.
fiction.
Yeah. And Padme is amazing. She's good too, especially in her animated appearances as well. Her animated appearances give a lot more depth in her character. Even Leia, her animated appearances or animation,
you got
give her a bigger. Ahsoka's amazing.
Even all the Jedi, the female Jedi on the council that got fleshed
out. Ventress.
Luminary
Ventress. Yeah.
What's the one? What was the one who was Ahsoka's friend?
Shoot, I forget her name, but I know who you're talking about because she was in.
Is it Barris?
I think it is. I think it's Varys or something
Barris
like that.
Or something like that.
Something like that. But her, what's her name from Rebels?
Sabine.
Oh, Sabine. That's what I was thinking about. Sabine and I like that she was getting more force sensitive because that was more or less set up in Rebels.
Like, it's great. It's great characters, and that's why I'm so confused whenever somebody says, "Oh, we don't like this show," or "We don't like this movie," and it's a female lead. They're like, "Oh, nope, you don't like it because it's a woman." Like it. I don't know if it was a direct quote from her or not, but I just saw it somewhere, and it was like somebody said, "Yeah, the problem with Star Wars and the reason why the female characters are not working and they didn't like Rey is because it's a male dominant genre fan base." And I'm like, what? No. When you go to conventions, it's evenly balanced. I would even say it's more women that's fans of Star Wars than it is men. You know? But it's really like a well balanced like fan base. And the women will tell you before anybody about them characters if they not good. Like I've had friends and people I went to college with, and they was like dogging the new sequel series because they was like the character development was terrible. They didn't like how they did Luke and Leia and Han, and I was like, yo, I wasn't even thinking like that, and they was keeping it real, so it's not a problem. The characters is not the problem. It's how
you direct them, how you write them, and how you organize them in the story. You know what I mean? How you make their point, how to explain it. It's how their relevance to the story, like how they are and how it makes sense. Like Rey was very disjointed. One, because there was multiple directors behind the scene directing the sequel trilogies because they had. What's his name?
Was it J.J. Abrams?
J.J. Abrams.
Talking about then they went to Rian Johnson.
They were Rian Johnson.
They had somebody else for the third one, but went back to Jay.
Exactly.
We all call the trilogy killer around here because that's what he does. The franchise killer. That's what he does.
Franchise killer. But no, and that harms the writing for sure. But they didn't set her up for the best success. Like Force Awaken, I went into that movie going, okay, Rey's awesome. I like her. She's cool.
It was
Finn's
okay.
amazing, and Poe is cool. All these characters that are coming in are cool. I
Mhm.
liked how they're involving certain legacy characters, and then it just stopped giving good like writing and stuff like that when it came to her writing. I hate to bring up the point of versus like Ray versus Lucy from Fallout, but that's how you do it. You show things. You don't just immediately
Not
tell
just
things in
telling
rolling
us.
credits.
And then it was like it's disappointing the way like they build up this whole like mystery of who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so okay with her being a nobody. Like I
Agreed.
was perfectly fine with that. And then all of a sudden, oh, she's a Palpatine. And I'm like, dude,
You can't you keep dipping from the well, you know what I mean? You can't like
yeah,
not have an original thing outside of the Skywalker. She has to be connected to the Skywalker somehow, or that
yeah.
line, or
Mhm.
that kind of one of the characters in the main trilogy, or I guess saga at this point in time, has to be related because it's like a soap opera at this point in time. Like
Yeah.
this person's
And
related to this person, and this person's
exactly,
here.
exactly. And it's, before we get too deep into it, just to give a background of how we got here, first of all, for people who may not know the story of how this got to where we at now. So, of course, we know George Lucas is the
Yeah,
guy that came up with the whole story of Star Wars. Almost what it's almost been 50 years, but it's
close
40,
to
40,
50.
40
Yeah.
plus years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the first movie came out. He made the first three, came back, made the prequels. Then he was like, "Hey, I'm getting older. I can't keep trying to do all this." So in 2012, he sold Star Wars to Disney and was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm trusting you with this. I have the stories laid out for you. This is all you have to do." And since then, they've basically completely trashed all his ideas for that story to go on, which is understandable with some of the stuff they couldn't do because of the age of the actors coming back to do the story. And unfortunately, the untimely death of Carrie Fisher. But it was a plan, and we've gotten good things since then. In between, but it's you get a couple of good things, then you get one that's okay. And the thing about it is the stuff that we get that's okay is what we want it to be great.
Yeah.
Like the Obi-Wan, like the Kenobi series, the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
And I always say this, and I'm a big defender of this film. And it's because it went through so much crap, and that's why it came out the way it did. But I truly think that the Han Solo movie was not like the worst thing that ever came out.
Oh no! Here's the thing: the Han Solo movie was a movie that was successful
It
in telling the story, but
yeah,
it didn't give anything new to the story, and I think
it
that's what
didn't.
people had a problem
Yeah,
with because I watched it and I enjoyed it, but I was like, I knew everything already. It was like play
it
by beat.
and it was the thing about Solo was it was a good like western,
Yeah,
and that's why I was upset with the delivery. But at the end of the day, you got to understand it went through like production hell. The directors changed midway through them film, and they had to do rewrites, reshoots, all that kind of stuff. And it sucks because it was setting up for something like that. That was one of those movies where it was like a movie that could have became a series on
yeah,
Disney Plus because of the way they
agreed.
set it up. And it was such a great world to be set up in because Han Solo would have gave us that direct link to the underworld of
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars, the whole like mafia,
Good
crime
stuff.
family, the syndicates and stuff like that. It gives you that world, and you're doing heists and
Mm-hmm.
jobs here and there, bounty hunt. So it opens up doors to a part of Star Wars that I think they don't shine enough light on when it comes to live action and
Agreed.
animation, which they did too. And when they brought back the Clone Wars to do the last season with Ahsoka's arc, when they show her like on Coruscant down there in like the 1313 area. You're a
Yeah.
true fan. If you're a true fan, you know what that is. That was supposed to be a Boba Fett game, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, so it's man, it was so much there, and the actors were so great. But where they messed up is they tried to take a character because Han Solo is not like a comedic character, but they tried to take somebody and give him like a serious backstory where it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, he went through this hardship, and it was like you didn't have to really make Han like that.
You didn't have to. You really didn't. Like, it's like you say, it was setting up because like there was the end credit scene with Maul, and I was hyped. I was like, okay, we
Boy,
getting somewhere. Maul,
like
hyped. I
yes,
was hyped because I was like, I
yes.
really wanted to see what he was about before he got into Rebels and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And speaking of like movies that were good, but they kept that Disney did. It was like Rogue One was amazing. That is one
Amazing.
of the
And that's the
best
thing. They
movies
came
out
out the
there.
gate like hitting. They hit like a couple of home runs. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, Disney, y'all are getting it. Y'all are trying to keep the tradition. And then it was like it just went foul
Okay, let me
ball
ask you a
strike.
question. When was the first sign of a lower quality of property? But like when were you just okay? It's starting to dip. What can you?
honestly, honestly, bro, it wasn't until I would say the Rise of Skywalker, in between the Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and then because the Mandalorian was great,
Yeah, Mandalorian,
They brought back Clone Wars and
which
finished
is
it off with the
good.
last.
Yeah,
We got the Bad Batch out of that.
amazing.
Rebels was good.
Yep.
Besides people not liking the animation, which I understand because it was very weird looking.
It's hard to
Like,
get into, but like
yeah,
when you've seen it already,
yeah,
it doesn't bother me
it's
now. But
good. Yeah, but at
it's
first it
hard to
did,
get. Yeah,
and I got why they did it though, because it was like just Ralph McCoy's original like sketches and stuff, and I was like,
yeah.
that's cool. So, excuse me, they got that was good. What else was in between that? Like I said, Solo. That wasn't the movie's fault.
No.
So I'll say in between that time, and it really wasn't the shows. It was the two films
Yeah.
that kind of started that decline, and then it seemed like they were trying to make up for the lackluster of the films by bringing back characters from the prequels and doing stuff. And it was like, oh, okay, since y'all didn't like the movie, we'll finally give you the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, but we'll
Yeah.
make it a show. And then it
And we'll
was
make
like,
it like what is it,
okay,
six
so you
episodes?
remember, yeah, 6 episodes, which is not enough to tell a Kenobi
So sorry.
post episode 3 story. Then they was
No.
like, okay, so for all you Legends fans, we're gonna give you the Boba Fett story where he's surviving the Sarlacc pit. And I was like, okay. Which they owe Pat Oswald some money because I
He came
forgot what
out
show
with
it
that.
was.
Yeah,
But he came up,
it was
was it Sunny?
no, it wasn't Sunny. It was not. It's an Office inspired show. It was what was
Was
it?
it Parks?
Parks and Rec. There it is. It was Parks
Yeah.
and Rec. That's
Bro,
what it was.
it's so crazy because they have so many videos on like Instagram and all that and YouTube where he's telling it and then they showing it side by side. And I'm like, bro, literally
They
gave
owe him
y'all the
a
script
check.
for that
They
scene.
owe him
They
a
owe him a
whole
big
check.
fat
They
check,
owe him a
bro.
fat check. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
and it,
for you, D, when do you feel like that was the same for you as you kind of
I
felt uneasy about it, or was it more so after the Rise of Skywalker, or was it
I
when they made the Rise of?
it was initially with Rise of Skywalker because it was such a disjointed kind of movie from the Force Awakens, and they did
Mhm.
a lot of different things in it that I didn't really at the time like really process or whatever. But I went back and rewatched it again. It's not bad. It's not that bad.
What, the Force
It,
Awakens?
no, Force Awakens is good. I still
Yeah,
like it to this day. But I'm talking about
yeah.
Not Rise. Is it Rise of Skywalker? Is that
No, you
the
talking
one?
about the Last Jedi is the second one.
Last Jedi is the one where I
Yeah,
was really more or less decisive because it just did a lot of different things, and it
yeah.
did a lot.
And it was cool. I was like, that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't. It took me. I rewatched it again. And I was like, it's not that bad. At
Yeah.
first, I had a bigger reaction to it because I was just like not really. I didn't know how I felt about it, And then I
Yeah, that's
saw
how it
it.
was.
Yeah, and then there wasn't too much after. I think it was probably the Last Skywalker. It's Last Skywalker, right? I forget
Rise of
that.
Skywalker.
Rise of
Yeah,
Skywalker. I
Rise of
forget what it's
Skywalker.
called because I just
Yeah,
don't like
it's
the
it
movie's not
was
great.
it
It's not.
was
It's not a.
so much. Matter of fact, this is to let y'all know what we think of that one. So whenever it comes on, you know how TNT does, like they you know how
Yeah,
sometimes they just sporadically just do a Star Wars marathon out
saga,
of.
a little saga, whatever
So
like that. Yeah,
it was on TV the other day, and it was at the end where they had the whole Palpatine fleet, secret fleet, and they was fighting
yeah.
it. And I was watching it, and I was like, it is so much going on, and it makes absolutely no sense. And then I was looking at like Kylo. I was like, okay, basically, y'all tried to make him exactly like his grandfather, but
Yeah,
what I think they missed it with is Anakin was the chosen one.
yeah,
So regardless of what he did, whether it was good or bad, at the end of the day, George set it up to where his arc was going to be him bringing balance to the Force, which he literally did. And then they gave us that in the Ahsoka, like, hey, like he's literally the balance of the
yep,
Force. Like he's the
exactly.
one in between, like the Bendu and all that.
He,
And
yeah,
and I was like, okay, that's why he got to do what he did in the original movies.
yeah,
So with Kylo, it was like, okay, hey, he had a great reason to go bad because his uncle literally tried to kill him
yep,
because
yeah.
he had a bad dream, and I was like, that's kind
Like,
of overkill, bro. And that's not even like Luke. Too, I was like, y'all made Luke look like this old grumpy man who's yo.
uh,
It is funny because I saw a post the other day, and it was like, yeah, willing to give his father another chance who killed thousands, but my nephew had a bad dream. And I was ready to murder him on sight. I was like, yo, that is
yeah,
facts.
that kind of ruined it because like, how can you forgive someone who's done multiple atrocities of genocide across the
I'm
galaxy?
talking about
Is
like
known
straight
for
up.
that. No,
Like,
like people hear his name, it's like Voldemort. They hear his name, they shudder. Okay,
but they'd be like, who? But I'm going
don't
over
even say
here.
his name. Don't invoke his name because he's gonna show up. But you
And
know,
it was like he gave him, and I get it because it was his dad or whatever. I guess
yeah.
he needed his daddy, but it was like he was literally about to kill his nephew because he had a bad dream.
He was gonna kill his nephew because he felt a sense of the dark side. It's not like a confirmed. It wasn't even something that was already brewing in him. You could have easily
Mhm.
been like, "Hey Ben, hey, we're not doing that. We
Yep.
ain't going there. We're
We
not. Listen, I've already been down that path. We're not doing that again.
and
I'm too
that's
old."
the thing that you said the key word. Luke experienced the same thing, and I'm like, dude, why couldn't you help him when you went through the same exact feelings? Like you felt the dark side before. You was
Yeah.
tempted by it. You know what
Mm-hmm.
it's like.
Yeah.
If he's a Padawan and he's your nephew, it's okay. Let me try to save him. So then, if you try to save him and he goes bad, then you have a valid reason for
Yep.
trying to kill him.
And
But
I think they really honestly did that because they needed to give him a reason to really train Ray and to really like
was
he really needed that like redemption arc or whatever like that because he made a mistake. And I'm just like he wouldn't have made that mistake. I still to this
nah.
day don't think he would have like write it story wise. He wouldn't have made that mistake
It's
because he
it's
knows
just
that people can be
it's not
redeemed.
it's not Luke, bro. And I think that was the biggest thing out of the characters from the sequel trilogies that I really think they missed on was Luke,
Mm-hmm.
Kylo,
Mm-hmm.
Finn,
Mm-hmm.
and Poe.
Yeah.
And I don't say Ray because they already had an agenda set out for her,
Yeah. They already
which of course they didn't execute. In my opinion, it didn't execute the way it should have.
no.
But I leave her out because she was a new character. She
Mm-hmm.
had no ties to anything, so it
Yeah.
wasn't like a big deal. But like with Finn, former stormtrooper, he defected from that. Poe comes from a family. From reading the comics, now we know he comes from a family of great pilots and fighters and
Yep.
stuff like that. Then you got, of course, Luke. We just talked about what his problem was. But then with Kylo, he comes from the lineage of one of the greatest Jedi.
Yep.
/ Sith Lords in the galaxy. So you got these characters who already have backstories, and you know what their characters are supposed to be like. Then you give us what you give us, and it's man, how can
Like
y'all drop the
nobody,
ball?
not even none of the characters, like Finn's character at the end of the third movie was not even close to resolve. They didn't even do nothing with him.
It was still open, like we got no
We
resolution.
got
Like
no resolution in that shit at all. And then like I really think Kylo should have just went all the way to the dark side, not been redeemed. You know what
because
I
it
mean?
would have finally gave us a villain that we never truly got. Because it's like with Palpatine, Maul, Dooku, all like the Sith Lords, yeah, they were like villains,
Mm,
but they were all like, okay, Maul, he was already bad, so we knew he was gonna be off in the Phantom Menace.
yep.
Dooku, we finally got the reason why he became bad, but it was like, okay, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Palpatine, we know he's just a straight evil person.
He's
So
straight evil.
it's not like he started out as a good person. He's always been like terrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
With Kylo, is okay, he's been twisted, manipulated. Then he has the whole thing with his own blood trying to take him out. And then it's all the stuff to make somebody not want to be good. So then when he does the thing he does to Han, I'm like, bro, for sure this dude is finna be completely bad. Like,
Yeah. And it listen, they like Carrie Fisher was wasted in those sequel movies, to be frankly honest.
yeah, and it's
She
so
was wasted.
unfortunate. And it's so unfortunate that she
And I know,
passed because
yeah, I agree.
it's like the way, because even before she passed, the way they wrote her in the movies, it's like, bro, Princess Leia was no joke when it came to politics and stuff.
Yeah.
And play.
She didn't
And
play it at all.
they didn't and that's another thing that we missed. Like as much as we used to cry about the politics in the prequels, it gave us a lot of like background to what was going on as far as like the war. And it
Yep.
really flushed out in the Clone Wars series because it was like, oh my god, the
That's why
politics is so heavy in the prequels because it's like it's a whole freaking war going on.
they got to set up the war and why people wanted to do the thing that they wanted to do and where these disagreements and where the bigger issues started rising from. And the
Mm-hmm.
war was, handling a lot of those things. The separatists, honestly, they were like I say, when we look at the Bad Batch, they even mentioned he was like when he talked to what was it, the leader of I'm talking about when they had that thing at the round at the booth or
Yeah.
whatever. He was like, I was just doing stuff for my people. Like I
Yeah,
wanted my
and
people to
it
be
was like I
free.
just chose a side. I chose a side, the side that
He's
was
like,
gonna help me.
I'm not evil. I just wanted to do what's best for my people, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
it was. And I think, and the one thing I will say that the Acolyte series does well is painting like, how the Jedi aren't as noble as they're portrayed in the
Mm-hmm.
prequels. Because when
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, I'd be so annoyed with the Jedi and the Acolyte. That's the
Dude,
one thing I'd
I'm
just be
like,
so annoyed. I'd be like,
I'm like,
come on now,
they
come
so
on now.
they're very arrogant.
Yes.
They're very arrogant in the acolyte, and that part I like about it because I'm like, yo, they showed a lot of arrogance in the prequels,
Mm,
and
yeah,
now
they
we're
did.
seeing like where it roots from. They felt like they were like the police of the galaxy, and they could go around telling people what to do and all
And
this
how to
stuff. So I'm
live their
like,
life
I
and how to
see,
interpret the force and all
yeah,
that
I'm like,
stuff.
I see
Like,
why people didn't like them during the Clone Wars and stuff because it was
yeah.
like they already had a bad rep before it even got to
So
fighting the war.
they're known as the kidnappers, man. They come
Man,
in, take your
straight
kid
up.
as a kid, as a young kid. It glossed over my head that they were just
Bruh,
kidnapping
because you
people,
was just like, oh, it's cool. You get to go
right?
be a Jedi. And then you think about it, it's
And
like,
then when
hold
you get
on.
older, you're like, oh no, they
So you
weren't.
telling me
Come on
if I
now.
was like 5 and they came and found me, they just take me from my mom?
Right? Take you from your family and tell your family some and wave their hand around your family and tell them some BS and then take you. Because that's the one thing I like about the Sith user in the Acolyte is he was like, you brought her here. Remember when they brought
Mm-hmm.
he was like, she was just a kid. You brought her here. Like I'm
You
just
brought
handling
her.
business.
You brought her to her end,
I was
and that's
like, and that's why I
yeah,
couldn't dispute his stuff. I was like, you know what? He was saying those. I was
bro.
like, facts, man. I
Bro,
wasn't
what
even mad
about
at him.
and like we discussed before the podcast? I think his character is so great because
Mm-hmm.
he it's almost funny because when he called him a Sith, it's almost like he was saying, "Whoa, buddy, that's racist. That's what you call it." And I was like, "Dang, now the Jedi are racist." I was like, "Bro, that's cool." And it's like we've been talking about. We get these little gems, but it's like everything else around it is
It's just
blah.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
bland, so like I don't. You said something about it. You said like flat is what you called it. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, it's
flat.
flat. It's flat. It's like when you don't close the tab, when you don't twist the top on the ginger
Yeah.
ale good, and it get flat, and you drink it, you like,
Ugh.
yeah, it's just like that. And it's so unfortunate because it's so much from Star. There's so many good stories from Star Wars that could be
Mm-hmm.
told, and I think what's happening is they're choosing the right time periods, but the
Yeah.
wrong stories.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
agree.
almost, I don't think we really needed to have a story about a young girl who has the dynamic of being a witch or a Jedi and trying to show. I think it wasn't needed. It's refreshing because it's like, hey, okay, we get to see it from both sides, but at the
Yeah.
same time, they're taking so much time of telling it instead of showing us the whole thing. We get so much. We spend so much time on the backstory
Mm-hmm.
and this and that, and we lose a lot of what's going. Because a lot of times with Star Wars, you don't have to really give flashbacks because they cover a lot when like in the present time, and it's
Yeah.
almost like they just tell you stuff, and that's what I used to like about Star Wars. They spoke on stuff, and it was just like known that's what it was, and this is what's happening now. And every now and then you get a little flashback or something like that, but it wouldn't be like with Grogu, like
Yeah.
it was just flashbacks, but we never really got the full story until later on.
Exactly.
I feel like they gave away so much
So quickly.
before we got to the good stuff that when we finally get like the Acolyte and who he was and the Jedi and what they did, it was almost like, why didn't y'all start off with this, then give us the
You should have
backstory?
just flipped it around. Like started off where
Yeah,
we're at now, and then give the or do what they did like in like you say in the Mandalorian and tease us throughout the
yeah,
series, tease us, and then lead to the final episode or final two episodes where he just bam, this is what it is. Or and
yeah,
here's the
but
thing, they did not, and this is one thing I did. I immediately knew she was a twin,
bro,
like
when she woke up,
immediately.
I was like, oh, she's got a twin sister.
Yeah, immediately I was like, I
And I
wasn't
was
even
so
surprised.
upset because I was like, why do I already know this? Like,
Right? Why do I already
because
know that she's a twin?
they didn't sell it. They didn't sell it. They was like, yeah, this is a different person. And I was like, bro, here we go. And then what makes it worse? Okay, what makes the twins so bad is the scenes when they were kids.
Yeah.
And it's nothing on the actresses who played them. Like it's
No.
the way they
No.
wrote it. When she got mad about her choosing to be a Jedi, and then out of nowhere, she was like, "Oh, I'll just take you out now." I'm like, dude,
Like
you
that?
gonna do that to your twin sister just like that? Cause
That's
she
what
wanna
I'm
be a
saying.
Jedi? I
Here's
was
my
like,
thing.
wow, that's a
When I
little
saw that
extreme.
part, I was like, "You're gonna have to tell me a good redemption arc because I'm already like not liking to save her. I'm not even on this team to save her right now.
Bro,
As a
put her
kid,
in jail.
you gonna lock me behind a door and burn everything down, and you think as an adult I'm gonna save you? No,
No,
I
sir.
got PTSD. If I see you, I got PTSD, man. I'm already hyperventilating now seeing you. I don't understand. Like it flip flops so much. Like in episode, what was it, 5? She went from
Mm-hmm.
no, it's episode 4. She went from shooting her and missing to the next episode. I'm taking you in because you're a criminal. I'm like, where did this
Bro,
flip happen?
dude,
So
it's nothing in between. It's just like they say, oh, now she's like this. It's no character
there's
development.
there's
And it's
no
like,
time to tell this. I think it's just because there's a short episode count that they have to rush
yeah.
this. So like I've been
It
saying
feels rushed.
since I've been saying this, since they've been putting out these, even in the Marvel sense, but I've been saying this in general, you need to have at least 10 episodes to tell a decent
You
story.
have to.
You have to.
Bro.
Like this story could
Because
be better and written better if you had time to build the pace.
bro,
Every moment in these episodes feels like, okay, this happens like that. Okay, this, that. And
Yeah, it's like
I'm just getting hit with, I'm getting whiplash because I'm sitting
and
here
it's
having to try to remember this thing. And then, oh, wait, that's not relevant anymore.
bro,
Now it's this. Oh, wait, that's not anything anymore. Now we're here. Like the plot has jumped so many times to where,
so many
oh, boy,
times.
here's the thing. When old guy died by taking the poison, I didn't even, I listen. I almost didn't really react to that. I was like, all right, I don't know why I should care that
Man,
you're
I didn't
deceased
care at
now
all.
because
Because
you
honestly,
didn't build him
honestly, he
up.
was just there. When they showed the
Yeah.
flashback, he was literally just there.
He just
And he's a
existed there.
Padawan, and then he got
Yeah.
like he was mind control for 5 seconds. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so he did what to you? Oh, he
Right?
was
Like
just
he was just there. You just
yeah.
have a thing where he was just there.
And then let's not even talk about. I have to put on my film hat real quick.
Okay, here we go.
The makeup of him supposed like he's supposed to be older. I was like, yo, that is terrible. That is terrible, bro. Like it took me out of it because I'm like, okay, is he supposed? I don't know, bro.
How old
That
is
was
he at
bad.
this point in time? I was like,
Uh,
how old are we
yeah,
talking here?
that
Is
was
it
bad.
like
That was
and
bad.
listen, and then wasting an actress, I forget her name, the Trinity from the Matrix, wasting her that quickly.
Man,
Here's my thing: if you want to show how cool she is, you should have had her take down like a couple Padawans or something, or someone else outside of that,
yeah,
and then have a train up, so that we can see her like be
yeah,
more
because
skilled.
it's almost like she's just taking out Jedi like
They
like
ain't
they some
nothing.
like second class citizens, like they just civilians or something. And I'm like, bro, I mean, I get she's a force user and she's been trained by the Acolyte, but she's not the If it was him, I'd have been like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay. But it's like she's like standing like toe to toe with a Jedi master, not
exactly.
not a knight, a Padawan, a
A
master, bro,
master and sitting
master.
there going 1-to-1 at first, and then like when she pulled out her lightsaber, I'm like, okay, so you're gonna obviously pull out your red lightsaber or whatever. Nope. What are they? A little
All those
throwing knife,
darts, the
darts.
daggers, yeah, the
Yeah.
daggers, yeah, the
And
daggers,
I'm
and
like,
it's
and the way she killed her was, I was like,
I was
man,
mad. I was mad as
yeah, I was
hell. I
so
was mad
mad.
as hell. Cause I'm like, first of all, I was already annoyed with the whole strike me down. I was like,
I did not like that because she's a Jedi. She's a Jedi, so she's
and she's
not
not
gonna do
gonna
that.
strike you down.
You
Like
know this.
so I'm like, okay. I was like, we already starting this off bad. And then it was just like, cause okay, if it's me, if I'm doing a show like this, right?
Yeah,
So let's take all the factors. Cause everything we're saying goes back to how we started this. So
yeah,
we're picking a time period. It's 100 years before the Phantom Menace.
yes.
Which even though it seems like a long time, is really not
It's not.
because
That's a drop. You
it
know.
sets up so much stuff and so much to happen. And it's characters that are around then that's around at that time that we already knew about. You have a specific time period. We know the Jedi was like at its highest. They were like pristine. They had everything in order. So it's okay. We know it's a lot of them around, even to where they had these different temples and different planets. Because from what we know, the main thing you had to go to Coruscant to train. But it's okay.
Yep.
Before that, it was different Jedi temples. I was like, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you start her off in a cantina where it's close to an outpost where the Jedi are, and she's fighting the Jedi Master instead of, hey, let's set it up like this. You show the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's let's just say for the sake of it, just for film cliches, it's nighttime because she seems like a stealth like character
She
already.
does. She seems like
Because
a.
she's using daggers. That's an
Mm-hmm.
assassin like stealth like character.
Yeah.
So you show that at nighttime, you see her sneaking in, and let's just say she's looking for that Jedi, and she's looking around, she's taking Padawans out, taking people like it's a game where you moving silently. So then she doesn't find her there, but she gets the intel by either hearing it or she interrogates somebody, and then she gets her information. So
Yep.
therefore, it builds up to okay, we saw her in action, so she's pretty nice with it.
Yeah.
So then
Exactly.
when she fights her, it's okay, it makes sense. That's why she
Yeah.
held her own. Because
Yep.
she liked that. But
You know,
we ain't see that she would like that until so I'm like, bro, y'all just trying to just get these characters,
to do the
just
action
show
scenes.
just show how OP they are from the jump. And I'm like, bro, even Anakin wasn't like this at first. He had to build up. He had his flaws.
Listen, he lost arms. Okay, he lost arms. Getting
And
to where he
legs.
got, where arms and legs, getting to where he was at the end of the series. So
Yes, bro. So
listen,
it's come on, y'all. This is all we saying. Let's stop doing this like overpowered main characters and making them so skilled and from the get go when we don't have a backstory of it. That's what the problem is. We don't have any like common nature of who these people are. And then when you give it to us, it's still okay. So why is she so good at killing like often Jedi? Like why is she so good? We haven't seen the transition yet.
here's my thing. I don't know how she's gonna succeed to kill a Jedi without a weapon. I'm still waiting to see that. I'm still waiting
It's
to see
not
her.
possible.
That's what I'm trying to see. Because listen, I understand that maybe you can do some hand-to-hand combat because her choreography was nice like this. She was
Was
nice
great.
with the hands.
And that's
But
another good thing. Great
yeah,
choreography
the
is
yeah,
it's like a Jedi crouching tiger, hidden dragon. And
yeah. And
you
I
got
was
to say,
hooked.
but go ahead.
Here's the thing. That was what was hooking me. The choreography is amazing, like with the Acolyte and stuff like that. His choreography and how he was just
Ooh.
taking
The
out
way he
so
was
many
like taking them lightsabers out, that was kind of fire.
yeah, he was,
That's
and
kind
I
of
don't know
fire.
what kind of thing he did is
It's a
like
certain kind of metal.
yeah,
Yeah.
to knock their weapons out. But I was like, oh, when he did that the first time, I was like, oh no, he's too nice with it. He did that quick,
Then
and then
that double kill he got with the where he pulled them and it was
yeah, on the plane, or how he got the Padawan and hit her 3 times real quick. I was
I was
like,
like, bro, you ain't have
geez.
to do that.
What got me is when he snapped old dude's neck like that. I wasn't expecting it. I was like,
I was
okay,
like, okay, this is what we wanted. This
yeah,
is what we wanted.
we
And that's
wanted
why I was
someone.
like, they dropping the ball, bro. They dropping the ball because this is a perfect era that show the true like power of like the Jedi and the Sith. Because
Yeah,
now you showing that the flaw of the Jedi, which is always their problem. They
yeah.
are never prepared for what hits them because they're so arrogant and thinking
No,
that they just
they've
always
won.
got everything in order.
Yeah, here's the thing, because I was watching some videos and some theories and stuff like that. But literally, I think they said the main Jedi temple from the prequels was right on top of a dark side
Yeah,
like
on a Sith
hub.
temple.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, how? What is more arrogant than building your structure on top of your enemy?
And then when they pop up, you like, we thought they were extinct. No.
Here's the thing that you're sitting on their hub, and now it makes more sense why they couldn't even sense them because you're sitting on their hub. So you wouldn't be able to send Palpatine's right up on you because he's ciphering into something that's already structured there.
Already there.
So he could move. He could move like an invisible person because you're so arrogant to build your stuff on their thing. And here's the thing: I'm ripping the Jedi a new one because listen, I like a couple Jedi. I don't like all of them. I like a few Jedi. I like Kanan. I like Ezra. Obi's my boy.
Yeah,
Anakin when he
Obi, Anakin.
Anakin when he's not full of himself.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
Ahsoka. Shoot, and Soul. I like Soul from
So I like Soul. I do. Oh, we can't forget our favorite,
Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon, yes.
Qui-Gon was like the Magneto of the Jedi.
He tried to put him on. He said, "Hey, listen, y'all doing too much. Y'all better get your stuff together." And he died, and that set up the whole entire franchise.
And that's why I think with a lot of stuff, they should dive more into the animated route of telling stories because you get a chance to tell the stories with the actors that are either no longer with us, they're older, they can't do certain things, and you can flesh it out like when they did the Tales of the Jedi and they showed Dooku's story. I was like, that's great. Why can't we get more of this? So it's like we getting these gems, but when it comes to the live action, it's like it's hit or miss. Okay, Obi the Kenobi series, as we just gonna backtrack a little bit. That should have been a film. Acolyte feels like it should have been a movie in a way. Because, like you keep saying, if you're not gonna do 10 episodes,
What
you
we
might as
doing?
well make it a movie.
You might as
Because
well.
you get more time to do what you want to do. But it's when you do like this, you rushing it. But the Kenobi series definitely should have been a movie. Then the other
Yeah.
day, I think I sent you something when when we both saw that video of what it was supposed to be. I was like,
Yeah. I was just like, man. Because here's the thing. There's some good gems about or good parts of the Kenobi series for sure. Like I liked seeing the stormtrooper on the street because they threw him out because they
yeah,
weren't
it
useful
showed
anymore.
the
I
consequences
like
of the
that
war.
because I like
Yeah.
that it shows that the Empire don't like they have a specific level of soldiers that they want. They don't want defectives or people that can't
Mm-hmm.
be controlled. And the clones at that point in time, at the end of the three, they were their own people. Insert Bad Batch. They're their own people. They make their own choices and stuff like that. The animated stuff is where I think Star Wars needs to stay and it stay where it needs to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you're one, like you say, the storytelling is more tight knit and stuff like that. Like the Bad Batch 1 to 3 was good. Even the campy stuff was good. Even
It worked.
and the ending was really goddamn good. That was so good. I
I was on the
really
edge
want to.
of my seat. It's
I
like
really
I was like, oh
want
no, is he finna go? Is he? I was like, no, no,
like right.
no.
It was so touch and go, but it
Yeah,
was
bro.
well timed.
It was great.
Everybody went into the finale with a death flag just waving around him. I was like, man, this is good
Yeah.
writing, good film.
So
And they could have set up for a Omega series, and I would watch that shit.
heck yeah, especially now that we know she was part of the rebellion. Y'all
Do it,
can't leave me hanging like this now,
do
bro.
it.
Set it
You
up,
know
and that's another thing. That's another good female character. Like
exactly.
it's not it has nothing to do with male or female. It's whether the character is written well. That's all that really matters. So I'm so torn at how they try to make this like a gender race thing, and they're trying to have us like pick a side, or they make you feel like if you say something, like we had to give a whole disclaimer before we
Right
said
before you
anything. Like
started, we have to give a
it shouldn't have
disclaimer.
to be like that, because at the end of the day, we just literally fans, and fans
Yeah.
are gonna express how they feel about something that they've grown up their whole life watching. Like
Yes.
me and you, we have 30 plus years of being a fan of this. Some people 40 years, their whole lives have been
Mm-hmm.
dedicated to this one franchise. And they just like, okay, we're not here to be like gatekeepers. We just want good stuff.
You just want good material. Look, here's at the end of the day, you just said before, I don't care who is the lead character of it. Just give me a good story, make it
Good
relatable,
story.
make it something where I'm just like, okay, I can understand this person as a person.
Yeah,
Regardless of what they are that's different
cause
from me or same as me. I need to be like, okay, there's a human experience right there. That's
yep.
someone going through this thing. Andor, love that series.
Oh my god, I cannot.
Had nothing to do with me.
Till season 2, bro. When I say
Oh yeah.
that is top 3 in they
Yes.
shows, that is top
That
3,
is top
bro.
three
Oh
for
my
sure.
god, I have never experienced something like that where it was good,
All the
bro.
way through that
Because it
thing
was
was
like what
good.
it was 10 episodes, right?
I think it might have been 8 or 10.
Yeah, it was a
One
good
of
amount.
those.
But I'm like, bro, that's a prime example right there.
Do it.
You had a good amount of episodes, and it was great.
It
Like,
was amazing.
oh man,
Oh,
Diego Luna,
listen.
bro, that dude, that's one of the people I'm so glad that came into Star Wars, because he made that character. Oh, and then he said, I saw what he said, yeah, get ready, because season 2 is definitely leading up right up to Rogue One. I'm like,
I know. And I was like, listen, give me a better reason to watch that movie, man. Because I love Rogue One. So anything leading to Rogue One is it's just perfect for me. Like perfect for
so
me. Like any of the thing. We've given plenty of examples of great female led movies or shows throughout this entire video. So I feel like we don't have to I hope we don't have to give it just that disclaimer again. Because I'm
no,
tired of giving that disclaimer,
I
man.
am too, bro, because it's not a hate thing. We love
It's
everything.
not.
We love that now they have diversity behind the camera, in the
Mm-hmm.
writers' room.
Yeah.
It's so good. We just want it to be good. Like, we are excited about. I love seeing when they have the female directors, people of color directing,
Yep.
writing. It's
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's
Keep
what
it going.
George wanted it to be. He wanted
Yep.
he gave Disney this to give people who are fans. That's another key thing.
Yep,
Who
you
are
gotta be a
fans
fan.
of this franchise and who respect it. So when you have people like that, you can see the product and what comes out of it. So that's all it is. Because I'll even go back to the Kenobi series. Like I'm gonna pick on that a little bit more because like you said, bro, Obi-Wan Kenobi is our boy. Like
Yeah, he's
like
that dude.
he really, you can tell he wanted to be like Qui-Gon,
Yep.
but he had so much faith in the Jedi he couldn't let it go, and that was his
Yep.
downfall, and that's what made him a good character because
Yep.
his downfall was putting his whole trust and life into a thing that was almost basically not perfect. And in his
Yeah.
eyes, he thought it was. When he found out, it was too late. He lost his master. He lost his best friend.
Lost
You
his
know,
girl.
lost his girl. So it was like the dude went through a lot. And that's why I was like in Kenobi, we didn't feel none of that. We didn't feel all the losses he had. We didn't get it until he fought Vader and he finally realized it was Anakin and they had that monologue. But what I was going to say about this series is the thing that I think took up most of the time that didn't have to be there was the whole Leia thing. We didn't need him and Leia to have
Yeah.
a little adventure when she was a
Yeah.
little girl because it's like, bro, okay, in the original trilogy, we knew that Leia knew who Obi-Wan was because she worked with her father, which was Bell.
Yeah.
I always thought in my head she didn't meet Obi-Wan until she probably was like a teenager or something.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Because I feel like that would have been the most
Most
logical thing
logical
because he
place.
was hiding for all that
Yeah,
time. So I'm like,
exactly.
he ain't finna be out here willy nilly out
Saying
here.
hi to the folks and whatever. You don't
Yeah,
need.
when she's a little girl, and then I was like, I knew him and Vader fought before then because it's always said in that original fight, the last time I fought you, I was learning now I'm the master. That whole
And
line.
here's the thing: they didn't even need to fucking. They didn't even need to fight in the Kenobi series because it already canonically worked that they had fought
Mm-hmm.
before. And so when you go back to the originals, you're like, oh, of course, because he was his Padawan at the time. That's what that connection
And
is.
that's what I was like, bruh. The Kenobi series should have been spent on Obi-Wan trying to find himself, deal
Mm-hmm.
with PTSD from
Yep.
a lot of stuff. Like you got to think about it. The man has been a Jedi since he was a child. He's
Yep.
fought in a war. He thought he killed. He thought he took out his best friend. All this time. So he's going through that. Then come to find out, he finds out that he's the reason why we have Vader because of his love for Anakin. He couldn't totally because we
Kill him
all
off.
know he could have just took him out.
He
But
could have
he
finished the
couldn't.
job.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
couldn't do it. And
Yeah.
because of that, that's how we got Vader because of Obi-Wan's love for Anakin.
Listen, he even told with the Yoda. He was like, I can't do it.
He can't do it.
He told him before
And
he even went out
that
there.
was
He was
another
like, I
arrogant
couldn't
move of
do
the
it
Jedi. It's bro, the man is telling you he can't do it, and you still sent him to do it.
because
Like
of the. Because I think it was because Yoda was trying to teach him the lesson of separation. I think that's
he
my head
was,
canon. If he
he
was trying to
was,
teach,
and my whole
yeah,
thing, like Yoda, this ain't no time for a lesson. Like you
you either
got a
just get it
dude
done.
who's nice with it, and now
Yeah,
he's like on the dark side, so it's straight like full rage and power.
listen, I would have
Not
sent
saying not
his
saying
thing.
Obi-Wan can't handle him, but it's like he's not in the right mind state to fight him.
Yeah, I would have said. Here's my thing. I would have either went as Yoda. I'd have went out there and took care of it because I'm just like that, or I would have sent at least 3 or 4 Jedi out there to
Mm-hmm.
at least distract them a little bit while Obi-Wan gets that work in real quick.
Yeah,
And if
but
Obi-Wan couldn't do it, get the other 3 to get him.
yeah. So I feel like that is where a lot of this goes wrong because they try to do a lot of fan service to where
Oh
we don't
yeah,
need it. We didn't ask for a little mini Leia event, the Adventures of Young Princess Leia. We didn't ask for that.
no,
Just like the stuff with Book of Boba Fett, where you just make them look cool, and then you do Mandalorian 2.0.
We didn't need that, even though that was probably the better part of the Book of Boba.
It
You know,
was in the
but
Rise of Skywalker,
I was
all
about to
the
say
nostalgia, fan service,
we didn't need Lando. I
Palpatine,
love Lando, but we did not
Lando.
need
He
Lando.
served no purpose. He served absolutely no purpose in that movie. It was like,
100%.
why is he here? Then
Fan service.
you finally hint that Finn is force sensitive, and
But
it
but
still
but we
doesn't go
but,
anywhere,
but here you hint that, right? But you have an hour and a half or whatever of Lando. We couldn't spend that time talking about Finn.
bro.
We couldn't do that.
Man,
Or when they went to the freaking casino planet, we could have not even went there. We could
never. We didn't have to go there at
wait.
all.
No, take it back.
That was the second movie.
Yeah, that's a whole other movie. I'm just griping
See,
about that thing.
we crossing stuff because there's so much craziness that went on, bro.
I'm
And
just
then it's
griping about that. Oh my
and
gosh,
then
that
it's
was
like
bad.
other thing too is we have the video games now, right? We have the Fallen Jedi. We have a character that's literally around in some of these
Mm-hmm.
shows,
Yep.
and they don't mention him at all.
They don't
Like,
even hint to him. They hint to Star Killer before they hint to that dude, Cal.
bro, and then he's fought Vader. He didn't fought Vader like 2 times.
Yeah, like come on now, come on.
So
Just,
I'm
just,
like,
just put him in the background of. Remember, I said they should have put him in the background of Kenobi. He should have
yeah, he
been in
should
the
have been there,
background,
bro.
or they should have had a poster looking for him or something.
That's why I thought they was gonna do it Kenobi. I was like, okay, so Obi-Wan's gonna go off world, have a little mission. He gonna meet up with Kyle. That's gonna be like his informant. They gonna go on a little mission to find something out. And then that kind of gives us like, okay, this is what he was up to while he was hiding out. He was still trying to get information
Yeah,
because it's like Kyle could have gave him the whole scoop on, hey, yeah, I fought this dude named Vader, and he was like crazy powerful, and he almost took out me and my master.
yep,
And then as he's telling him about him, Obi-Wan's like, man, Vader, I thought I took care of it. So they try to do all this fan service stuff, and and I'm like, bro, give us that, but in like an animated, like the shorts they do.
yeah.
Give us
Mm-hmm.
Princess Leia's like story of politics in an animated series. We don't
Yeah,
need to see her when she's a little kid because it honestly serves no purpose to the
yeah.
story.
I mean, at the end of the day, all it serves is the fact that it shows that she's obviously both her father and her
Yeah,
mother.
and I was like,
It re-emphasizes what we already know.
we
You know?
already we already know it, and that's the thing. I'm like, bro, we have the prequels to tell us this that she was like them. We don't need Obi-Wan to reassure us that, oh yeah, you're like Padme and Anakin. No, bro, we don't need that.
We
It's
good. We
so
already know. We already know this. I don't know. I think here's my thing. I think Disney got got the Star Wars thing and they said, okay, we're gonna use the prequels that are established and the originals that are established, and then we're gonna make our own thing. And then before the prequels, we're recreating all of that because we don't like stuff.
They have used nothing from Legends before the prequels. None of the old Republic stories. The only thing
Or
they used was like Malachor, Darth Bane,
the whip,
and yeah, the
the
whip. Like
light whip.
it's certain little stuff that they use, but it's dude, you have some of the best stories that were made in Legends from all the comics, the video games, and you literally can pull from anything and create that world. But it's nope, we still not going that far back. We only going 100 years before now, because you have made this story recently. So
Yeah, they
that's why
made the
you're
whole High
telling it.
Republic books.
This
Yeah,
ain't nothing from Legends. This is what you have done. So yeah, we did this, and now we get to do live action. This is what we
yeah,
did.
because we
It's
want to
like
sell that property.
they tooting their own horn, bro. And it's a slap in the face to George Lucas because George Lucas always said like Legends wasn't even canon when we thought it was canon
Yeah,
because he's no, it's just we tell these stories and you get to see them. That's what Star Wars is about. You can tell your
yeah,
own story whenever and whatever, and that's what he made it for. And it's like they take all these ideas he has. No, we good. We gonna do this right here, and then we're going. This like the fact that they made a great Vader comic, and we still haven't got a Vader story. Is bro, what? Why y'all
remember
tooting
I
y'all own going on the stuff we don't care about.
Right?
Like,
Remember I sent you that video talking about a Vader solo movie and how
dude,
good that would
it
be?
would be great.
Listen, and then I sent you that clip of that my favorite line from the comic
Oh,
where
he
he was
took down
like,
all that squadron,
yeah,
bro.
he said all I feel is what is it?
Dead, 100 dead, so something like that.
He said all I feel is fear and dead men. That's what it was.
Yes,
All I see is
dude.
fear and dead men. I was
To
like,
hear that line
oh,
in live action, I would just like melt, bro, because it is so terrifying. Like this dude, he ain't. It ain't like he's speaking on something he ain't about to do. Like he's about to do exactly what he's speaking on,
he's
and it's
surrounded
like
by hundreds of
hundreds.
rebels and saying, I'm not afraid, but I fear it. I feel that fear in y'all. And I already see dead people.
Yep,
You're already dead. In my eyes, you're already dead.
bro. So
That's
it's
a
like
scary mess right there. I'll tell you what.
it's terrifying. So bro, we got so much stuff, and it's you don't, and that's the biggest thing. Like I keep saying it, you don't have to do everything live action. And I know it costs a little more to do like animation and stuff, but it's like, hey, just explore these diameters in the animation where you have more freedom to do
Yep.
what you need to do. And it's we getting these things and like hearing like the upcoming stuff. It's yeah, I'm excited for it because of who I hear is behind it. But it's sad when you have to have your guard up now. Oh, I don't
Oh, I
know.
did.
I don't know. It sounds great. Acolyte, it sounded good
It
when they were
sounded
talking
really
about it.
good. Yeah.
Then we got it, and
Here's the thing. Here's how you know it's not a great and it's not really going to be a amazingly well written series. They dropped 2 episodes and those 2 episodes were not great. Those 2 episodes, I was like, I remember I texted you. I was like, I really need that third episode. That's how it wasn't just grabbing me when I felt like I
yeah.
needed another episode to just really feel like I'm hooked in. And I didn't even get hooked into it really until episode 5. Like I was really just trying to give it a chance, like really give it a chance. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna finish the series because like I've already
Yeah.
started this and I'm gonna
Yeah,
complete
we
it.
invested, so
We invested in it, and we'll give our honest opinions about that as well.
yeah,
But there's some
that'll come
good
up
things
soon.
about the Acolyte. Like I love the Acolyte. He's dope. He's dope. I like the actor who plays him.
And
I'm hyped about that. Like that hyped
and
me up.
I do love how it's like, okay, he's like the precursor to the whole Knights of Ren idea. I was like, that's cool. Pisses it
Let's
makes
not
me
talk about the
so
Knights of
upset.
Let's not talk
But
about
and
the
it
Knights of
makes me
Ren.
I was just visiting,
No,
and it makes me so
no.
upset because they set up something that could have been dope and it was completely trash, bro. Completely trash. And I'm like, there you
Uh,
go, trying to come back and rewrite your wrongs with a dope character, but it's like it doesn't matter because what you gave us is already done and set in stone, and we got
mm-hmm.
what we got. So it's, yeah, you can play the little Kylo Ren theme and hint at it
Yeah,
and the
right.
whole helmet, but we don't care because it's like you shouldn't even connect him to that story because that's something we don't care about anymore because you didn't give us what you promised us.
You like
You
the Knights
promised
of
us
Ren.
something cool and we didn't get it.
Knights of Ren were absent an entire movie.
And then
Entire movie.
when
They
we get
did.
them, they like this in seconds. And yeah, I
I
get it's
mean,
Kylo Ren, but I'm like, bro, we didn't get to see them do nothing.
we didn't get to see them do
But
anything.
stand there and look cool.
Yeah, that's it. Like they got the 2007 version of a music video in the desert or whatever. They sitting there on the freaking tower,
Just
like
looking
looking down, looking cool, whatever. And here's
why
the
the
thing:
wind blows.
wind blows, and what is it? A Linkin Park song going in the background.
Look,
you know,
I already hear it. What I do. Bro, it's crazy how perfect that goes with
it's
everything.
crazy how that works with
It's
every
crazy.
single thing. Oh my gosh! But that's
But
exactly what it felt like.
it did. You know, this is the main question I want to ask you
Oh darn.
because
Okay.
since we covered so much, because
Yeah.
it's honestly this podcast is honestly just us. Because I don't think we ever got a chance to express how we feel about everything in a whole.
No.
Because
No.
we've reviewed so much content that is okay. Let's talk about like how we feel about it now. And the last thing we did, we talked about what we would like to see because of Bad
Mm-hmm.
Batch. We was like, what we would like to see animated,
Yeah.
the future. Like we already touched on it, so we was like, we're gonna give y'all a whole podcast about how we just feel. Period. Because then you know what we think because we're such
Exactly.
fans of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to ask. since we talk about what they haven't used, what they need to do, I'm not even gonna give you just one character because that's hard to say, but what are some characters that you feel like they didn't use and they really missed a chance of having a great story because of who the character was? I know for a fact who both of us think. I'm just gonna say it out the gate, a Raven.
All
Yeah.
right. You
Yeah.
took mine. I
Yeah.
was about
So
to say that.
no,
Yeah.
that's why I said it because I was like, we
Yeah.
both gonna say that. Because we'll be talking about that for days.
Oh
So
yeah.
we gonna already take Raven out of the equation because
Uh,
we've been campaigning for that since we was in high school, probably.
oh, we've been like, listen, I've been wanting that for so long that I've lost faith that we're ever gonna get it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like. That's why I didn't say it. That's why I was like, let's just get it off the table because at this point, I don't even think it's ever gonna happen. Honestly, bro.
listen, here's the thing. I think because listen, I would love for them. I would love honestly for, and I know this is a fan theory. I know it's not whatever, but I like the idea of seeing Mace Windu again. Okay, I want to see him walk around or have a scar from that event, or see him doing
Yes,
something in the
bro.
background or something like that.
And Samuel is saying he wants to do it, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
y'all finna
let him
wait till this man like 80.
and be like he gonna pull a Luke and be trying to kill somebody, his nephew or something like that, and that's
Like,
gonna be the end of
bro,
Mace or whatever.
dude, I would definitely love that. Also, you know who I always say, and that's another. He's another one I didn't gave up on now. Our boy Glenn Malik, Star
Yeah.
Killer.
Yeah,
But
I was about to say him. I was literally about to say him. That was my next
yeah,
guy.
but like you said, just like Revan is kind of at this point, you just throw in the towel
Throw in
because
the
it's like
towel
they had
entirely.
the chance to do it. Like I always say, I will say this every time we talk about Star Wars is that they could have had him come in at the end of Kenobi when
Yep.
Vader was in his throne room in his castle and he was talking to Palpatine. I was like, we didn't even need that. That could have been like Vader looking out the window, right? And you hit it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shot of him looking out the window. All you hear is the little of the doors open. When you see that
Yep.
light, you hear the footsteps, and you see the silhouette of the shadow on the ground,
Yep.
and like that haircut, and then the camera like cuts, and then it like pans up, and you see him, and then you hear Vader breathing, and then it goes back to him, turn around, you hear him walk down the steps, and then Starkiller like kneels down, and then they don't even have to say anything, and he
Nope.
looks up, and he goes and looks up like this, and then you fade to black,
It's
man,
good. Good.
dude,
Done.
then you would have had
Done.
a chance to have the Vader series, the whole like Starkiller thing. I'm like, bro,
You could have reworked the entire story. You could have non-canon the games and brought them into
yeah, and
the
made him
story and
and
rewrite
you
them.
could and that way you could have had him grow and he wouldn't start off as powerful because we get why it was like that because it's a game so
Yeah.
you got to make the character like that so we can want to play the game and I'm like bro that would have been perfect and then
Mm-hmm.
another character RJ
Yeah, listen, we're not getting her. No,
never
it's too
getting her
late. It's too late.
they
Look, here's the thing: the sequel
they
series killed
basically
that.
you know what they did who they turned Mara Jade into in my opinion in my theory is they
Okay.
made Ray Mara Jade.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
what they did was they took other female characters and gave them aspects of her, like as far as the people who like what was it? What was the one on the planet that Poe went to and he used to have a little fling with her?
Oh, you're talking about the Spice Raider girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they take little qualities of her, dump them out there, and then they like give the Jedi quality to. I was like, bro, I wish we had. I thought Mara Jade was for sure gonna show up in the Mandalorian. I thought for sure she was.
No, here's the
And
thing:
then once she did it, I was like, it's it. That's it. That's it.
the reason why she didn't show up is because the sequel series happened and Luke was too old and they already went on
Mm-hmm.
that storyline. Because if you bring in her, you have to explain in the sequel series where she's at. You could say she
Mm-hmm.
died, but like she was bad. She ain't
She
going
was the
out.
goat.
She ain't going out like that. You have to really show me a way that she died that I believe. And they couldn't do that.
She would have.
They
She
didn't
oh
couldn't do
man,
that.
she would have been so. dope, bro. And I thought when they was doing Tales of the Jedi, I thought for sure they was gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you a little bit of Mara Jade now. I'm still
So
like crazy over the fact that we haven't got Luke with anything animated, and he's done so much. And they keep telling us like, oh, it's displayed in the comics. I don't have time to read the comic.
also, like, here's the thing: those comics, for the sake of the conversation, are most of them aren't even canon. So what we doing?
Yeah,
So
so it's
what we
like,
doing? Why? Here's the thing: they're great stories. Don't get me wrong, but like, why, in the sake of current Star Wars, are we to take those stories and put them into the canon? Because Disney's nope. Like, even I think even their own, because they own Marvel, even
some
the
of it.
Marvel branded stuff, they're like, nah,
Yeah,
don't
some of
even,
it they're like, oh
like,
no, that's not canon.
the comic aspect is not a good argument. Here's my thing: if you're gonna bring in his love interest and you're gonna make it so a thing, you gotta rework a lot of things to make her not only good and make sense in the story, but also you gotta explain where she's at in the series after if not after, but before the sequel. You have to explain that. You gotta show up. She had to show up in Rebels. Or not even wait, not even.
No, it wouldn't be Rebels
It
because
wouldn't
Luke
be
is
Rebels
still a
because yeah,
teenager.
that's what I was about to
Yeah.
say. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
It would
But she,
legit it would legit have to been in the Mandalorian, bro.
yeah, I
Like
agree.
she would have had
Yeah,
to show up like when Luke was training Grogu and all that. She would have had to been in that episode. Like
yeah,
at the temple he was building and all that.
she
So
would have had to shown up there as an interest, a love interest, or someone he was
mhm.
partnered with. But then they, at that point in time, they'd have to explain where's his kids,
Yeah.
and
Because
they
remember
can't explain that.
he's the one who had the kids that
Yep.
were force sensitive. It was never Leia. She had kids, but they weren't the important part of the lineage of the
No,
Skywalker.
no, because I mean,
Which was interesting that they had chose Leia to have the kids instead of Luke. And I was like, okay, it's cool because okay, now we get to see something different. Han and Leia had
exactly.
a kid who's force sensitive. Because it's
Yeah.
like with Luke, it was obvious because he got with somebody who was force sensitive. So it was like
hmm
it's obvious he's
So
gonna have kids.
yeah, it's obvious this kid's gonna be powerful too because it's two force sensitive individuals,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can both train them up to be or train them up to be a threat. But in the situation of the one we got now, I don't know. I guess I get it why Kylo was so powerful, but like at the end of the day, I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
So since we on that and we told what we were looking for, I have to ask you this. I think this is a great way to get to closing it out.
Okay.
Do you feel like now they're trying to how can I put it? They're trying to retcon the sequel series, but they're not by trying to make this Ray movie and kind of that's because I feel like that's even a retcon, like them doing that and trying to fix it because they know
Oh
that
yeah.
people weren't happy about it. And do you feel like now it's too late because you've done so much, but now you're trying to fix it with the Mandalorian, Ahsoka,
Bad
Thrawn,
Batch.
bringing back Thrawn, Bad Batch. Now you're gonna give us the Heir to the Empire movie, which comes
Mm-hmm.
from Legends. But I feel like the only reason we get that is because of who's over that, which is, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
Old
Dave.
Dave. Shout out to
Oh
Dave,
Dave.
who
Oh
should
Dave.
who should be writing Star Wars. But yeah, do you feel like they're trying to retcon a lot of stuff from that and trying to fix it? And do you feel like it's too late, or do you feel like you just to the point where you don't care anymore and you just here for the ride now? What do you think, bro?
Okay, so let me clarify things with you about the movie because like I said, I haven't heard 100 like everything about it, but it's supposed to be like her making a Jedi Order or whatever, like building the Jedi Order
Mm-hmm.
back up.
She's basically doing Luke's storyline from Legends.
Technically, she's doing Luke's storyline from the sequels.
Yeah, basically.
Let me answer your question. I listen at this point in time, I think it's too late to retcon the sequels because Disney is putting too much into their content of explaining how Palpatine came back. In that part, canonizing the sequels, meaning doubling down, meaning they can't ever retcon the sequels anymore because there's so much things tied to it now. So there's no retconning. They can try to. I don't think they're retconning. I think they're trying to just catch up to the sequels. Just do all the homework they should have done before the sequels came out to explain the sequels. So they're doing all their homework. So they're not, and I don't think the new movies, unless they're going to come out with a new movie and say everything that happened in the sequels is no longer canon anymore in these new movies. What we say in these new movies is going to be canon. It's just going to be a continuation of the story. And on the last point of what you said, I'm here for the ride at this point in time. I'm going to review everything they've been putting out. I'm gonna dredge through it and give my honest review. But listen, I'm here for the ride now. If there's something
we fans.
Yeah, if there's something that's good, I'm gonna throw my hands up and go down the ride. But if it's bad, I'll be sitting on a roller coaster like this.
Would it be the little kiddie roller coaster you got going there with your little cousin or your nephew or niece, and you'd be like, "Dang it, I guess I'll have fun."
Right? You ain't even happy about it. Sitting there just, I'm ready for it to be off. But
yes, bro.
That's where I'm at. I'm just along for the ride at this point in time. Like, I'm gonna review all of it. Everything that comes out for Star Wars related, I will be telling you my honest opinions about it on this platform. But to be excited about it, I think the next thing I'm excited about is Andor Season 2. That's pretty much it. I can't even think about anything else projected. I'm just not invested
that's it.
in a sense of getting excited about. Yeah. But if it's Andor's gonna be great, so it's probably gonna be. I'm probably gonna be doing this at the end of the day on that, and then whatever. And Acolyte episode 5 is this with me doing this on episode 5, and after that I was like, I'm back. So I don't even know. Here's the thing: I'm so uninterested in, I guess, the series that I don't even. I had that you said, oh, there's only gonna be 5 episodes of this series, and I was like, I think there's gonna be 8.
Bro, we don't even know.
Like,
we thinking it's over with.
Because I don't know. I don't know. Like, Acolyte just feels like it's building to something, but it's just so like slow that I'm like losing track of where we're going. Like, I like episode 5 was a good bump up, but then where do we go from there? They're not really. I don't think they even set. I guess they set up the thing with her switching with them switching, which I don't even know what that's even gonna do.
It's so cliche. The most cliche twin thing ever is for them to switch places. Like,
and like nobody. Bro. Like, here's the thing. Here's my thing. The Jedi are not that smart because I would have immediately been like, "Dang, you got a lot of."
Isn't their whole thing of sensing something?
Yeah.
Like. And I get he just fought and all that, but I'm like, okay, eventually he's gonna sense that.
I thought he did at first because he looked at her for a good minute.
Yeah.
And I thought he was like, and maybe he does. Maybe in episode 7.
Yeah, maybe he does.
Episode 6, episode 7.
He has a plan.
He's luring her in. Yeah. He's luring her in to get cuffed or whatever. Because I was like, I'm still needing to get caught up in the new episode, so I don't know. But going out of episode 5, he should have been more sensitive to that. And I'm just like, and even the Acolyte, he should have been like, nah, you the Jedi. Bam, bam. He should have even picked her. I think he picked her up at the end of the episode. He like picked her up and carried her or something like that.
Which was weird.
What are we doing?
Yeah, so I like we said,
but yeah,
we'll come to a conclusion on that when it ends, and we'll give y'all our complete thoughts on it. Because we don't know what to think. So until it's over with, we can't really tell y'all.
Let me put that back on your face. So answer the question yourself. Are you feeling like you're committed to this anymore? You feel like you're like invested, or are you just along for the ride? Do you think that they're retconning stuff? Like, what's your...
Bro, D, I'm right next to you on the roller coaster, bro. I'm right next to you. And in the front, I'm right next to you, bro. Like, everything you said is how I feel. Because at this point, it's like we wished for stuff for so long. We asked for it. We wanted it. And it's, hey, I've come to grips. So I'm not going to get what I wanted. A lot of fans have. And it's so interesting because when you watch other podcasts and other people who love, like one guy I watch a lot who I've been following for a long time is Christian Harloff. He has a great podcast, and he's a real like Star Wars fan, and he is like us. He loves the stuff, but he's not gonna sit there and just praise it if it's not good.
Yeah,
and that's like what everybody is now. we accepting it for what it is, but we're not gonna stand here and just say it's good if it's not. So, like you said, I'm just along for the ride. It is some things that have been good that
Yep.
have come out of the Disney era, so it's not totally bad. It's mainly the movies that have been in that situation. But as far as like the shows, it's been up and down, but some of it's been consistent. So, like you said, we got something to look forward to
Yeah.
with Andor season 2. So it's like you said, I'm on that roller coaster with you, bro. So everything you said is exactly how I feel, bro.
Okay,
Exactly
good.
how I
Because
feel.
I just wanted to ask just to give you a chance if you had any more to add or a different
Oh no,
opinion for
no,
sure.
no, no.
Because you were just like wrapping it up, and I was like, wait, let's have
No,
a
cause
conversation.
look, I gave it to you because I was like, I guarantee you, he's gonna say exactly what I'm feeling, cause that's how like in sync we are about this whole thing. And I'm like, yep, he said it. So when he asked me, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm putting the safety thing on, I'm holding on like this, and then we go up that first drop, and when we realize that it's okay, we go like this, but then when we hit that loop that we thought was gonna be a big loop and it's not, we just that's what it was. So
Right.
I hate that we're using a roller coaster to describe.
It works so well.
It
It works
does, because that's what it
so
feels
well.
like. A darn roller coaster, man.
It
So
does, man.
so yeah,
Oh,
bro. That's how I feel. So like we said, we got for you guys coming up, we will be doing the Acolyte. Since we started on it and we watched it, we think it's only right that we give you our thoughts about that. We still have to get to talking about, was it Tales of the Empire?
all the
But
tells,
I think
right?
we're gonna do it in a whole. We're gonna
Yeah,
do that in a whole.
we're gonna do the whole tell thing.
We was supposed to do it. I was a little under the weather. Demetrius
Hmm.
had some stuff, some scheduling, so we got a little busy. But
Yeah,
we're definitely getting back into the group so we can give y'all more stuff
of
and keep
course.
y'all in the loop. So that'll definitely be coming. And Demetrius, if you got anything else, I think that's it for me.
I was thinking because like how Disney owns both Marvel and not Marvel and DC, Marvel and Star Wars.
Hmm.
That like I was thinking that we could do a Marvel one, but I realized I was like I'm so far removed from Marvel content that
Yeah, but
I couldn't
no,
give an
that's
opinion on that.
That's perfect though. That's a perfect reason to do it because it's like, why are we removed from it now? So my very esteemed and intelligent colleague doesn't even know that he comes up with ideas when he does. So definitely, I think that'll be a good one to do to give y'all insight on why we. You'll get to hear a lot of the same what we're talking about here with Marvel because we're not as invested in Marvel as we are Star Wars because this is something like we truly love, and with
Mm-hmm.
Marvel is we are fans of it. And as far as like outside of the movies, comic book, games, TV
Yeah,
shows, anime, like it's so much that has been with Marvel is a thing where it's been so many different products over time. It's just a thing where you're just a fan of it from different aspects. But
exactly.
I think that'll be good. Need to tell them like why we haven't been watching stuff, or if we have, it's been like, yeah, I'll watch it when I get to it, which is crazy to think about that because it was like at first you had to see it because
Right,
everybody
all the
else
way
was
up to
gonna be
end
talking
game,
about
you
it.
were like we were
Yeah,
hooked. All the way
so
up to end game, I was consistent. I'll tell you.
that'll be on the line of things that we'll throw into the pot. Yeah, so that'll be coming soon for our viewers. Our insight on Marvel, you know.
And get ready for our disclaimer again because we're probably gonna give another disclaimer
Boy,
before starting that one
we
because
definitely gonna have to get some disclaimers for that one because it's a lot. So
it's yeah
yeah,
it's very much a lot. But yeah, we'll be. I'm down to talk about that one
yeah,
because I can't think about the last Marvel property I watched. Honestly, when I was thinking back, I was like, I think it might have been the Marvels. Yeah, the Marvels was the most recent
yes,
thing.
that was
Yeah,
the
the
last
Marvels.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so and I feel like the next thing I'll probably watch is the no. Wait, no. I watched Echo. Okay, I watched Echo,
I
and then I
still
went
haven't
back
finished Echo.
and then I went back and I watched the Marvels because it came out on Netflix.
Yeah,
That's why it's disjointed. But the last technically thing that was in the line was Echo, but like the last
which
Marvel
was
property,
good. I just never got to
yeah,
finish it. Yeah, so yeah,
Echo was a good property. It was one of
yeah,
the good gems. But I think the next thing I'm looking forward to with Marvel is whenever that Daredevil series comes out. That's the only thing, because there's 18 episodes. I'm getting all the good content I want because you have enough time to tell me a great story. There ain't no reason for that season not to be great.
See,
there ain't no reason.
I told y'all, look at him. We got a whole episode of that. That's it's coming. See how he got this? He didn't even know that we needed to do that. Because he just he be thinking about it. He don't even know the great stuff to come. But in all seriousness, yeah. So that'll be our next one, the State of Marvel from the Square Round Table.
And we might even throw one to State of DC, because that one, like, we might even throw out DC.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Because shoot. Because with the hand tossing of that universe is ridiculous. They got here's the thing. I'm gonna say this one little thing and then I'm gonna close it. They got a Batman series and Batman movie, new Batman movie, just brand new, not even a 2-year movie, and they already rebranding a whole nother universe with a Superman, and they ain't trying to connect the universes.
That's tough, boy.
Why are we wasting Reeves? Why are we wasting him? He was good. Great, amazing.
Yeah.
You sold me a perfect Batman movie. I'm not even that big of a Batman fan like that. And I was sitting there singing all the Nirvana songs and all the themes that came on. That was my playlist for a minute.
That's gonna be a tough one right there, because it's all over the place.
Yeah. So we got the State of Marvel coming out. We got the State of DC. The DC one. Listen. That's that. I'm not gonna say no more because I'm gonna get into a whole nother hour about that one.
Yeah.
But let's wrap it up before we start going into another hour.
As always, it's time for that shame. Shame. It's promotional. Or since it's a Star Wars episode, it is time for the shameless promotional. Or promotional shame. It is time for. But D, go ahead and take it away, bro.
This has been the Square Roundtable Podcast. If you like our content, you can like the video, share this content with your friends, your family, whoever. Comment on the video of how you felt about the State of Star Wars. Did you like the series that we mentioned that we liked? Are you disagreeing with us about the sequel series? Did you love the sequel series? Did you think Kylo's progression was great? Do you hate how they did Finn and other characters in the series? Were you expecting some of the non-canon legend stuff to show up? How did you feel about Kenobi series? How do you feel about the Acolyte? Were you agreeing with us? Also, you can fit that Marvel stuff down there too. That's fine. Fit the Marvel DC content down there. We'll discuss with you. It's coming real soon. And are you like us? Are you along for the ride now? Just throw your hands up when good content comes out, or put your hands down like this when it ain't good? Let us know in the comment section down below. Also, follow us. If you want to also listen to us, you can listen to us anywhere you find your podcast, but you can listen to us on fandomlim.com, squareroundtablepodcast.fandomlim.com. You can catch us on Rap Nerd Tuesdays and Thursdays. And follow us on our social medias, our Instagram, our X, that pesky Facebook group, and eventually a Discord. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We got to get everything right.
Yeah.
We got to get everybody in there and get it all set up, but it's coming soon. We've given up on TikTok. We're just not.
I think we just missed that. Yeah, we in a generation. We come from a generation that just totally missed it. So
yeah, that's just not our area. It's okay though. We have plenty of places you can find us and find our content. Like anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. But with that being said, I'm your host, Dmitri.
And I'm your host, Marcus.
And this has been the Square Roundtable Podcast, and we are out.
And may the force be with you.
Yes, and may the force be with you.